You arrive in Australia with a dream of growth and success. But something happens that you never imagined. You feel so short of money that your diet becomes rice and ketchup for the next whole year. Actually, this is the reality for a 21-year-old Indian student, Ali Priya Biswas, when she first started studying in Melbourne. And this isn't a single student, it's a story being lived by many Indian students who are studying in Australia. When we are talking about Australia, the common belief is that Australia is a land of opportunities for Indian students, where for decades Indians have migrated and settled successfully. And you can earn a lot of money while you're studying and also get a world-class education from some of the top universities of the world. But the reality is heart-wrenching. Ali Priya lived in Australia practically on rice and canned tuna because her money didn't stretch in Australia. She finally got a job 6 months after arriving in Australia, which wasn't easy, and she got a job in bartending, which eventually helped her keep going. And this isn't rare. Professor Alan Morris from University Technology of Sydney told ABC News, there's a lot of suffering out there among international students. Enormous stress and anxiety as they try to manage their studies while managing their finances. And there's a big issue of feeling isolated from day one. Some can't find part-time work, and others who do are actually underpaid. And not just rent, housing is a crisis. And as housing is short, students are pushed into informal housing. And one student, Raghav, mentioned that he found an accommodation which was actually a garden shed. And then there is Adriana, who could not find her housing in Sydney just because it was too expensive and very long wait list even, and got rejected by 50 plus private rentals. Out of desperation, she moved into shared studios, paying $450 a week under an agreement which took away all her rights. The promised maintenance never came, and she faced leaks, electrical failures, and broken smoke alarms. Now, just to escape, she's searching for short sublets on Facebook Marketplace. And there are cases where students are paying huge amounts and still end up in overcrowded dormitories with just a bed to sleep. This has gone to that level where some students are actually doing hot bedding, which basically means that one bed is being shared by multiple students, and students sleep in shifts, and hence keeping the bed hot for the next one to come and sleep in. But as Indians, we are used to compromising and figuring it out till we make it. And hence accommodation is not the biggest thing we worry about. But then comes the part about jobs. The jobs are not fixed and the employers are exploiting. Even working 48 hours a fortnight is not enough to actually cover your entire living cost. And hence the government is trying to propose 60 hours a fortnight, which probably will not happen. But that shows the mindset that practically you are going to be working 30 hours in a week while you are studying. And because of this shortage, many students get underpaid. They try to find extra work on cash with no employee protection and get exploited. In Melbourne, advocates report international students being paid as low as $10 per hour. And that's not the end. Because of this, many employers are also delaying paychecks or denying paychecks altogether, making students suffer and having to evict their accommodation because they don't have the money to pay the rent. And all of this, why? Because the students, they are desperate. They don't know their rights and they are afraid to complain that they might get into trouble. So let's break down what's really behind these struggles. Australia currently caps student work to around 48 hours a fortnight, a rule intended to help students focus on education. But in reality, 48 hours isn't enough to cover food, rent, and other utility bills. And because of that, students feel underpaid. And because of that, students are forced into unregulated jobs on cash and are exposed to exploitation. On the other side, the universities rely on these international students' tuition fees. The tuition costs are high, with even a master's student having a minimum of 2 years of education required to get post-study work permit. And with this, no guarantee of subsidized housing or any housing support. No living cost subsidies, which leaves students financially strained even before their classes begin. And of course, the rental marketplaces in cities like Sydney and Melbourne are extremely tight. As a result, the rents are high and options are minimal, which also force the students into making bad choices. Australian education standards are quite high, and balancing the labor of part-time, the financial pressure, and the intense academic expectation leads to stress and strain and even burnout. And this forces them into social isolation and creating a lot of mental and psychological stress for the students. So the question begins, is it all bad? Because these situations and questions are not simple. They have a lot of layers. Firstly, international students are not the cause of Australia's housing crisis. Research and housing experts show that this shortage is due to years of underbuilding, investor-driven real estate, and weak public housing, and not the students. Students are just getting crushed inside an already broken system. And secondly, many families choose Australia for their children because it offers a safe place for students to study, multicultural communities, and post-study work pathways. And for parents sitting in India, this still feels like a logical bet. But what I find are the students who succeed, they budget aggressively. They have a larger amount ready with them which they are willing to spend. They usually live a little far from campus so that they have better quality housing. They do not take exhausting shifts and typically work in customer-facing roles rather than back-end warehouses or kitchen roles. And also they manage their spends very carefully. But my friends, survival is not success. Just because some students make it through doesn't mean that the system is fair. Just because Australia offers opportunity doesn't mean it offers protection. Despite having one of the most comprehensive student protection rights named ESOS, students are absorbing risks which the university nor the government is willing to take. The housing risk, the employment risk, the mental health risk, and the financial risk. And all pushed onto 20-year-olds sent to another foreign country. And yes, Australia still works for some, but only for those who come with solid planning. So what does this mean for you? If you are thinking of studying in Australia, then keep this in mind. You cannot cover your full living cost and tuition fees by working part-time. Australia has high living costs, and with full part-time utilization, you'll barely be able to meet your living, your rent, your food, and your utilities. You will need minimum $2,000 per month to survive. And it's wise to come with the financial support of your parents or with a loan and not being dependent on getting a job from day one. Also, be prepared, build your friends and a social network that will support you to keep you psychologically stable while you're juggling your academics, your part-time, and your financial stress. So to summarize, I'm not saying Australia is bad. Studying in Australia can be life-changing, but the answer is no if you are not going with a plan. It's not just about landing a degree. It's about financial strategy, emotional resilience, and realistic expectations. So if you're still considering Australia and you want to discuss this in more detail, you want to understand your own personal profile, what might be a better fit for you, and also understand the nitty-gritty details that nobody wants to tell, there is a link in the description and you can book a one-on-one session with my team, and I'll be happy to help you guys out understanding the practical on-ground reality of studying in Australia. Also, if you're already studying in Australia and watching this, then tell me about that reality that you're facing on ground. Share in comments the challenges that you are facing and the struggle that you encounter every day so that the next batch of students who are coming are fully aware and can plan better. But that's it. Thank you all for listening to me. I'm Piyush Bharti, your study abroad coach, and I'd like to sign off by saying stay aware, plan better, and root for a better career. And if you too are an international student who had to cut down on their food choices to keep it economical, do let me know in the comments what was your choice.